We're talking about Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, once the golden couple of Hollywood, now locked in a legal war that's lasted longer than some marriages. We're talking 8 years of non-stop legal warfare, folks. And just when you thought things couldn't get more intense, new reports suggest Angelina is seeking a major payout from Brad after what sources describe as an emotionally difficult divorce process that's left both parties drained. This isn't just about money, people. This is about custody battles. A $164 million winery war, ALLE, GED, NDAs, and 6 children caught in the crossfire. This story has everything. So grab your popcorn, get comfortable. Because we're breaking down the entire timeline, the lawsuits, the allegations, and what this all means for one of Hollywood's most famous families. Let's get into it. First, let's rewind. Because to understand the magnitude of this fallout, we need to remember just how massive Brangelina actually was. Picture this. It's 2004. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston are America's sweethearts, the couple. Everyone wanted to be. Brad's at the height of his career, coming off movies like Ocean's 11 and Troy. Then comes a little film called Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And that's where Brad met her, Angelina Jolie. Already an Oscar winner, already known for her humanitarian work, already one of the most captivating women in Hollywood. The chemistry on screen? Absolutely electric. But what happened off-screen would change everything. By January 2005, Brad and Jen announced their split in a joint statement. And while both parties kept things diplomatic at first, the tabloids went absolutely wild with speculation about Brad and Angelina. The infamous W magazine shoot came out. Paparazzi caught them together. And by April 2005, the cat was officially out of the bag. Then the relationship went public. Brangelina was born. And for over a decade, they weren't just a couple, they were a phenomenon. They started building what they called their rainbow family, adopting Maddox from Cambodia, Zahara from Ethiopia, and Pax from Vietnam. Then came their biological children, Shiloh, in 2006, and twins Knox and Vivian in 2008. 6 kids total. They accumulated multiple properties around the globe: Los Angeles, New Orleans, France. In 2008, they purchased Chateau Miraval in the south of France for $60 million. This wasn't just a home. It would become a massive wine business. Their humanitarian work was impressive to joint UN missions. Refugee advocacy, adoption advocacy, they used their fame for causes that mattered. And they were box office gold, separately and together. Finally, after 9 years together, they got married in August 2014 at Chateau Miraval in an intimate ceremony where their children participated. It seemed like a fairy tale. They were building an empire together, a legacy, a brand worth hundreds of millions. Emphasis on were. September 19th, 2016. That's when everything changed forever. Angelina Jolie filed for divorce from Brad Pitt, citing irreconcilable differences. The petition sought sole physical custody of their 6 children. The timing shocked everyone. They'd only been married for 2 years. What happened? Well, here's where it gets really messy and really serious. Reports quickly emerged about an alleged incident on a private plane just days before the filing. The family had been flying from France to Los Angeles when an alleged altercation occurred between Brad and their oldest son, Maddox, who was 15 at the time. Different sources reported different versions of what happened. Some claimed Brad was intoxicated and became verbally and physically aggressive. Others downplayed the severity. But here's what we know for certain. The FBI launched an investigation into the incident. The Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services opened a case. Brad voluntarily submitted to drug and alcohol testing. And after a months-long investigation, no charges were filed and the case was closed. In the immediate aftermath, Brad released a statement saying he was very saddened by this. But what matters most now is the well-being of the kids, kindly asking the press to give them the space they deserve during this challenging time. Angelina's lawyer said she filed for divorce for the health of the family. And just like that, the fairy tale was over. But the real drama, the legal warfare, that was just beginning. What followed would be 8 years. 8 years. People of legal battles over custody arrangements, financial settlements, and property disputes that would make this one of the most contentious celebrity divorces in modern history. Sources close to both parties described the process as grueling emotionally, exhausting, toxic, and heartbreaking especially for the 6 children caught in the middle. Now, let's talk about what made this divorce so incredibly difficult and painful. The custody battle over their 6 children became one of the most contentious celebrity custody disputes in recent memory, and it's still not fully resolved. Initially, Angelina sought sole physical custody, with Brad getting visitation rights. Brad fought for joint custody. The back and forth was intense. During the first phase, from 2016 to 2017, Brad agreed to supervised visits while investigations were ongoing. He worked with a therapist and underwent drug testing. Angelina and the kids stayed in their LA home while Brad moved out. The arrangement was described as extremely painful for Brad. Then came Phase 2, the custody trial. From 2018 to 2021, they hired a private judge to handle the case confidentially. Court hearings stretched over 3 years with testimony from therapists, caregivers, and custody evaluators. Even some of the children themselves gave testimony in private sessions. Brad's legal team spent millions fighting for equal custody. In May 2021, after years of testimony, the private judge granted Brad tentative joint custody in what seemed like a major victory for him. But then plot twist. Just months later, in what became Phase 3, Angelina's legal team filed to have the judge disqualified from the case. Why? They discovered he had an undisclosed business relationship with Brad's attorneys. In July 2021, an appeals court agreed and disqualified the judge. That tentative custody ruling thrown out, this meant back to square one on custody arrangements after years of work. Can you imagine the emotional toll? The uncertainty for the children. Sources say the constant legal battles, uncertainty, and public scrutiny took a massive psychological toll on the entire family. The children, now ranging from teenagers to young adults, have reportedly had complicated relationships with both parents. Maddox allegedly testified against Brad during custody proceedings. Some of the older children have reportedly dropped Pitt from their surnames. Sources say not all the children are in regular contact with Brad, while others maintain they still want a relationship with their father. One insider described it as years of childhood lost to courtrooms and lawyers. Absolutely heartbreaking. Legal experts say that when custody battles drag on this long, everyone loses, especially the kids. But wait, there's more, because the custody battle is only half the story. Let's talk about Chateau Miraval. This isn't just any winery, folks. This is a $164 million estate in the south of France, and it's become ground zero for a completely separate legal war. Brad and Angelina bought Chateau Miraval together in 2008. They split ownership 50-50. They got married there in 2014. They built the wine business together. And here's the thing, this wasn't just a vanity project. Under Brad's management, and with the help of renowned winemaker Marc Perrin, Miraval became one of the most successful celebrity wine brands in the world. We're talking millions of bottles sold annually, 90+ point ratings from wine critics, international distribution, and estimated yearly revenue in the tens of millions. This was a legitimate, highly profitable business, and Brad poured his heart, time, and money into making it successful. But after the split, this idyllic French estate became a battlefield. Here's what went down in October 2021. While the custody battle was still raging, Angelina sold her 50% stake in the winery to Tenia del Mondo, a company owned by the Stoli Group, which has connections to Russian oligarch Yuri Shefler. The reported sale price, around $67 million. Brad's team was furious. In February 2022, Brad filed a lawsuit against Angelina alleging she deliberately violated their original agreement that neither would sell without the other's approval, sold to spite him after losing the custody ruling, chose a buyer she knew would make his life difficult in running the business, and sought to inflict economic harm on him. His lawsuit claims they had a verbal and written agreement that if either wanted to sell, they'd offer it to the other first. He says he wanted to buy her out, had made offers, but she refused and sold to a third party without his consent. But Angelina's lawyers fired back hard with explosive counterallegations. Her team claims Brad tried to force her into signing a hush clause NDA that would prevent her from discussing what happened in their relationship, including the plane incident. They claim Brad made the NDA a condition of buying her share. that he wanted to silence her about the events that led to their divorce, and that she refused to be silenced, so she had every right to sell to someone else. They argued Brad's control over the winery became another way to exert power over her. She filed a countersuit claiming Brad wasted company assets on vanity projects, made unilateral decisions without her consent, tried to control the narrative around their divorce, and used the winery as leverage. This legal battle is still ongoing as of now. Both sides are spending millions on lawyers. Depositions are happening. Documents are being subpoenaed. And get this, some of their own children have reportedly been called to testify in depositions about the sale and what they witnessed. This isn't just about a winery anymore. It's about control, power, and who gets to tell their story. Now, before we get to the latest payout demands, let's talk about the money. Because the financial stakes in this divorce are massive. Brad's net worth is estimated between $300 to $400 million, including Plan B Entertainment, his production company, a real estate portfolio, acting income, and his Miraval stake with its disputed value. Angelina's net worth is estimated between $120 to $150 million, including acting income, though she's worked less in recent years, directing income, real estate, and her stake in Miraval that she sold for approximately $67 million. Now, here's where it gets complicated. California is a community property state, which means assets acquired during marriage are split 50-50. But they were together from 2005 and only married in 2014, which creates disputes over what's actually considered community property, according to sources. Brad has been paying child support, though the exact amount is sealed. Some reports suggest it's in the tens of thousands per month. But here's the issue with 6 children, 2 different custody arrangements being fought over, and disputes about what was agreed versus what was actually paid. The financial picture is murky. And this is where we get to the latest developments. Which brings us to now, the latest chapter in this never-ending saga. New reports from sources close to the situation suggest that after years of emotionally draining legal battles, Angelina is seeking significant additional financial compensation from Brad. The exact details are sealed by confidentiality agreements, but here's what legal insiders and sources are saying about Angelina's reported demands. First, she wants compensation for years of legal warfare. Her legal fees have reportedly climbed into the millions, and she wants Brad to cover these costs since she claims his prolonged litigation has been punitive. She argues the endless lawsuits have been designed to drain her resources. Second, she's claiming emotional distress damages, arguing that 8 years of contentious litigation has taken a severe toll, impacted her ability to work and earn at her full capacity, and caused stress-related health issues. Third, there's Miraval-related compensation. She claims she was forced to sell her share at below market value, argues Brad's refusal to buy her out fairly left her no choice, and wants compensation for being forced out of a business she helped build. Fourth, there's a child support reassessment. Sources suggest disputes over whether Brad has paid what was initially agreed, questions about covering the children's expenses adequately, and concerns about college funds and future financial security. Fifth, she's looking at setting a legal precedent, making sure Brad can't drag out legal proceedings indefinitely, securing a final settlement that closes all remaining disputes, and getting acknowledgement for what she claims she's endured. Brad's team has pushed back hard on these claims, with sources saying he's been more than generous throughout the process and has paid millions in child support over the years. They argue the prolonged litigation has been difficult for both parties, that Angelina's sale of Miraval was vindictive and not necessary, that he just wants to move forward and co-parent peacefully, and that these new demands are excessive and punitive. One legal expert I consulted said these kinds of financial disputes, after such long, contentious divorces, are actually pretty common. After years of legal warfare, both parties are exhausted, emotionally drained, and looking for closure, even if it comes with a hefty price tag. The question is, will Brad agree to pay to finally end this, or will this become yet another protracted legal battle? Here's the thing that gets lost in all the legal jargon: dollar signs and dramatic headlines. These are real people, real children, and 8 years of their lives have been consumed by this nightmare. Think about it. Maddox was 15 when this started, he's now 23. Pax was 13, he's now 21. Was 11, She's now 19. Shiloh was 10. She's now 18. The twins Knox and Vivian were just 8 years old. They're now 16. These kids have spent their entire adolescence, arguably the most formative years of their lives, watching their parents fight, not just argue, but engage in scorched earth legal warfare with no end in sight. Some of them have been called to testify. Some have reportedly distanced themselves from Brad. Some are trying to maintain relationships with both parents while navigating this impossible situation. Both Angelina and Brad have spoken publicly about how much they love their children. Both seem to genuinely want what's best for them. But somewhere along the way, this became less about the kids and more about winning, about control, about who was right and who was wrong, about who gets the house, the money, the public sympathy. And that's the real tragedy here. Multiple child psychologists and family therapists have said that prolonged, high-conflict divorces can have lasting impacts on children, affecting their ability to form healthy attachments, trust in relationships, mental health and well-being, academic performance, sense of stability and security, and future romantic relationships. One therapist I spoke with said that when children watch their parents fight for nearly a decade, it teaches them that love is warfare, that relationships are battles to be won. That's a devastating lesson. Let's hope for everyone's sake, especially those 6 children who didn't ask for any of this, that resolution comes soon. So, there you have it, the complete story of where Angelina and Brad stand today in 2025. 8 years, 2 major lawsuits, millions spent on legal fees, 6 children caught in the middle, and still no end in sight. Will there be a major payout? Will Angelina get what she's asking for? Will the Miraval battle ever end? Will they find a way to co-parent peacefully? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, this is one Hollywood divorce that's going down in history as one of the messiest, most expensive, and most heartbreaking celebrity splits ever. What do you think? Is Angelina justified in seeking this payout? Should Brad agree to end this once and for all? Or is there blame on both sides? Let me know in the comments below. And be respectful, remember? Real people and real children are affected by this. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on this story or any other celebrity news. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.